Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Corey, and welcome to Coriraefitmas. It's been a long week. Anyways, I have got my secret sauce in here. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is yet, but I want to know your guesses. So this is from Beam. They are having their athletes that went on the Beam retreat taste test a secret product that's coming out, I don't know when, probably sometime next year, and I want to know your guesses of what it is. Welcome to today's video. I'm going to share with you guys some reasons why you might not be seeing glute growth, and this will be kind of like your go-to guide of if you have the goal of building your glutes, come to this video and try these things if you aren't seeing any results or you just want to know how to do it in general. I'm going to show you tips that have worked for me. I am a certified personal trainer, so some of this is backed by science. Obviously everybody's body is a little bit different, and these are just some things that are known to work for most people and what has worked for me. I'm going to show a little before and an after picture of what my little glutes looked like before I really started implementing these tips. And before we get into today's video, obviously any of these tips are not going to work if you're not staying consistent with your workout routine and actually consistently doing these things that I'm going to tell you guys in the video. Consistency, just like with anything, is key to seeing results and success with whatever goal you have. And these tips can also apply to other body parts, so not just your glutes. So if you're wanting to grow your upper body, these tips can apply to that. And I thought instead of doing just like a sit down video of me talking you through all the tips, I thought I would take you through like a vlog style, because this is honestly more fun for me and it makes me more excited to film, and I feel like it's more exciting for you guys to watch because I'm a very visual person. Somebody can sit here and tell me things like face to face, but I need to see it, so I thought this video would be more beneficial of me like taking you through my workout and showing you rather than just telling you. So before we get into the video, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up because it really supports my channel, because I put a lot of work into these videos, especially for the past 9 days. I've been working every single day on them, so it really helps me in the algorithm, you know. Yeah, so I'm about to drive to the gym now, and let's get to it. Also, look out for the secret letter. Alright, so starting off, I always like to warm up by opening up my hips and doing dynamic stretching. You guys know by now, dynamic just means that you keep moving through your stretches instead of doing static, which is better to do at the end of your workout. While warming up won't build your glute muscles, it's still essential because it helps decrease the risk of injury. And if you get injured, obviously you won't be able to go to the gym as often because you are injured and you have to recover from that injury. And warming up also opens up those hips to give you a fuller range of motion for your workouts. I also like to do glute activation exercises just to warm up my glute muscle. Something else important to think about is that there are actually 3 main muscles of your glute. So we have your gluteus maximus, your gluteus medius, and also your gluteus minimus. This is important just to make sure that we are doing exercises that target each of these glute muscles, just to make sure we're getting that full rounded look that you're probably working towards, and also to make sure that each of them are equally as strong and we don't have one just big muscle that's taking over. And my next tip is to make sure that we are having a good mix of isolated movements and also compound movements. So a compound lift is what I'm doing right now, so like your squats, your leg presses, that kind of thing, that include all different kinds of muscles. So for the leg press, we have our glutes are engaged, our hamstrings, and our quads. Some good glute isolation exercises are going to be things like hip thrusts or glute bridges, donkey kicks, hip thrust, that kind of thing. In the comment section below, I'm going to include some exercises that target different parts of your glutes and some of my favorite ones that I like to do. Alright, so my next tip, if you find that you're hitting a plateau, aggressive overload is going to be your best friend. And I'm going to go over a few different ways that you can implement this and ways that you can do progressive overload. The first one is that you can obviously increase the amount of weight that you're doing. Next up is to increase the volume or the amount of reps you're doing for each exercise. I would say 15 reps is known to be about the max before it start to not do any good for you. Next up is to decrease the rest time, which just helps with muscular efficiency and endurance. Next, you can increase the time under tension, which just means that you go slower down in a squat. So let's say it takes you 1 second to go down in a squat, maybe increase it to 3 seconds. This helps with your form. You can also pause at the end of your exercise. And the last one that I want to mention is increase the frequency of how much you're training the muscle that you're wanting to see a difference in. So for me personally, I train glutes twice a week. But you want to make sure that you're giving that muscle optimal rest time as well. So you want to make sure you're giving yourself at least 24 hours to 48 hours in between each time you work out that muscle. Which brings me into my next tip, which is to make sure you are prioritizing your recovery time. Recovery is just as important as the work itself, so you want to make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep each night, and you want to make sure that you are stretching and doing whatever you can to help those muscles recover. So like Epsom salt baths are a great idea. If you have any questions about progressive overload or other ways to recover, please comment that down below. I'd be happy to answer it. And then you guys already know by now, after each workout, I like to have a post-workout protein shake just to help my muscles recover and really fuel my muscle gains. Alright, so I just got home, and another tip that I have for you guys is if you're trying to grow your glute or just gain more muscle in general, a lot of the times if you aren't seeing results and you're going to the gym, staying consistent and doing all the tips that I said earlier, the issue might be with your nutrition. So a lot of the times we actually are not eating enough to help reach our goals and enough of the right things. With the clients that I work with and train and kind of help them with their macros, is I really highly suggest for them to track for a little bit to make sure that they're eating enough, and I help them find their macros and all of that fun stuff. I always tell them my goal for you ultimately is to get off of MyFitnessPal or a tracking app, because I use it as a tool to help you understand what a healthy day of eating looks like, what's enough food for you to help you feel satisfied and also reach your goals, and also what the correct macro split is, and just to kind of understand that in general. So I'm going to show you guys some foods that I like to eat whenever I am trying to bulk up and gain some muscle. While yes, you can eat a bunch of junk and things that aren't technically labeled as good for you, but that's called a dirty bulk. If you guys want me to get into that, I can one day, but that's for another video. So I like to eat a lot of good quality foods, but just more of it and more volume, if that makes sense, so I can get my calories up for the day and help me reach my goals. I also eat a lot of carbs. Carbs tend to have a bad rep and people think that they're gonna make you fat. I don't know who said that, because that is not true, especially if you're wanting to grow the booty and just gain muscle in general. It's not gonna make you fat. Just make sure you're eating the right kinds of carbs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show you some of my favorite things that I like to eat whenever I need to eat more calories in my day. Alright, so first thing, you guys already know I love having a protein powder. One, because protein is so important for building muscle, especially lean muscle. Protein is the building blocks for muscle, so it's so important to make sure you're eating enough of it. If you guys want some help on how to calculate your macros, make sure you fill out a form below, and I'll be sure to work with you one-on-one if you are interested in that. But yes, protein powder, I love being, my code is up on the screen if you guys are interested in trying them. I go back and forth between their vegan and their whey. They're both very good, but protein is key. Obviously you can get it through foods, but I find it kind of hard to do it strictly through food alone, so that's why I like to have a supplement form of it. Alright friends, so next up are bagels. I know it's random, but a lot of the times, sometimes people think that bagels are not good for you, but I like to get the Dave's Killer Bagels. They are a lot cleaner than most bagels that they sell. They just have better ingredients, and this one in particular has 12 grams of protein, and it doesn't have like high fructose corn syrup or anything in it, and you get 51 grams of carbs for one bagel, which is great, and they taste really good, and it doesn't feel like you're eating a lot, you know what I mean? Like you don't feel like overly full after you eat them, and I put cream cheese on them. Very good. Next up are oats. Oats are such a great way to up your calories, and they're also super good for you. You know, you can make them into oatmeal, overnight oats, baked oats, all kinds of stuff, and they're just good for you and a good way to get in just like straight carbs without having like extra fat or anything like that. Highly recommend. Next up is rice. Rice is also another great source of just straight up carbs, and it tastes really good. I like to add this with my dinners, sometimes my lunches, depending on Brady has the zoomies right now, so that's what that noise was. So it depends on when I eat it throughout the day, but I typically have rice almost every day, and I love it. Next up, another high calorie, lower volume food is peanut butter. You can eat literally, sometimes if I'm like low on my fat for the day, then I'll just eat like a spoonful of this and that'll cover it. Peanut butter obviously is a higher calorie food for a lower serving size, so I love peanut butter. Also, nuts are great because they're high in fat. They're great for you, great for your skin, all of that good stuff. Next up, this looks kind of gross, but pasta with like a source of protein, and you can add like different sauces to it, like low sugar ones, and it's a great way to get your carbs in and also protein. So I recommend doing like ground turkey, lean ground turkey, because the leaner the less fat and more protein ratio. Now obviously there are a ton of different examples of things that you can eat. There's a million different foods out there, but these are just examples of ones if you are trying to eat more, just some common ones that I like to recommend. I tell everyone this, the easy part about living a healthy lifestyle and seeing the results that you're wanting body-wise, going to the gym is the easy part. Nutrition is always the hard part. Another thing, so I wanted to go into what a deload week is and why it might be a good idea for you to do it if you are not seeing results. Maybe you're eating enough, you are training hard, doing progressive overload, all of that good stuff. A deload week is basically when you still go to the gym, you still train, but instead of doing the heavy weights and your progressive overload that you tend to do, instead you are doing lighter weights, lighter intensity, and just training lighter in general. The reason why this is a good idea to do is because you can only train your muscles so much, a certain amount, and basically the point of a deload week is to let your muscles catch up to all of the progress that you've been making and let them fully recover. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes things in my brain are like, they make sense in my brain, and then when I talk about them, I'll put a little thing on the screen as well about what a deload week is and why it might be a good idea to do it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That does bring us to the end. I feel like I have chocolate on my mouth. If I do, ignore it. So basically, it's not super hard to get the concept of how to properly gain muscle and grow your glutes. Basically, I'll do a little recap. Progressive overload is your best friend. 2, make sure you are eating enough to fuel your muscles and really fuel your gains. 3, if you need to take a deload week, take a deload week, which also goes hand in hand with recovery. They're so important just as much as the actual work is. It's just as important to make sure you're recovering. If you watched all this video and you still are a little bit confused, make sure you follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And also, if you are wanting a trainer to kind of help lay it all out for you and really get into depth of what you need personally for your body and what your situation is, I would be happy to be that person for you. So if you are interested, make sure you apply below. I'm also going to leave some information and resources for you to read more about this in the description box below of some of the sources that I use for this video, and also just some science-based evidence, because I know there's a lot of things getting thrown out there about what works and what doesn't work, and I kind of want to clear that up for you so you truly understand the science behind working out and all of that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you found today's secret letter so you can enter my giveaway. Make sure you watch the first couple videos of Coriraefitmas. I love you guys so much. Go outside and do something that makes you happy today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!